clown and abuse you?
You're tired.
Well, the lunchtime whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. If you're listening to another station I don't understand, 'cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the junkyard dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Hey, good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of a Top 10 Tuesday edition of the Thom Abraham Show. Coming to you once again poolside in Southwest Florida. My last show of the week. Got some responsibilities with bass coming up later on this week up at the Harris Chain of Lakes, where I'll be fishing in a Bassmaster Open there. So I am out of the box the rest of the week. However, we got a lot to get to today in our Tuesday Top 10. And how about this list? Of all the times that an 8-5-3 double play ended in a Major League Baseball playoff game, that would be one time, and it happened last night in Atlanta. Here's another list for you. The number of times a post-game season ended on a double play involving an outfielder. That would be one time, and that happened last night in Atlanta. The Braves were getting no hit by Zach Wheeler through 5 innings. They were down 4-1 in the 7th inning when Wheeler's old catcher, Travis DiArnaud, came to the plate in the 7th.
Travis hits one well to left field, heading back to the wall. D'Arnaud's got something to say. It's a 2-run homer, and it's a 1-run game here in the bottom of the 7th.
He is a notorious first pitch hitter, and he nailed that one. And that's going to end the night for Wheeler, so they did get a couple more off of him by leaving him in there.
Woohoo! Woohoo! So that knocks Wheeler out of the game. And then in the 8th inning, Austin Riley happens.
3-2 pitch. And he hits a high fly ball, deep left field, back to the wall, and is gone! Austin Riley hitting him where it hurts, and the Braves take the lead in the 8th. The Braves have erupted. They've taken the lead, and this place is an insane asylum.
No disrespect to insane asylums, right? And then in the top of the 9th, you got to be kidding me, right? There's one out in the game. Bryce Harper is on first base. Nick Castellanos is at the plate. Julio Iglesias, or whatever the hell that kid's name is on the mound. And then history happened.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 down. Iglesias looking into his catcher, ready to fire. 2-2. In the air, out towards right center field. Harris going to go back. Harris back to the warning track. He leaps. Michael's got it! He's got it! They fired it in, and it rolls across the infield. Taken by Riley. He throws to the bag. They double him off. Ball game over. Braves win. I've never seen a play like that. Oh! Braves even up the series. It was back to the wall. Harris went to the wall. Harper took off. He made a leaping catch to the wall. Fired it in. It rolled past Albies. Backing up the play was Riley. He secured it through to the bag. Doubled off Harper. And the Braves even up the series.
Craziest double play you're ever going to see. What a catch by Michael Harris. He may have robbed Castellanos of a homer. All the infielders knew they had Harper dead to rights, but nobody could catch the ball on the throw-in. Thankfully, Riley was there again to save the day.
Riley stepped up with his bat in the bottom of the 8th, his arm in the top of the 9th, and that's the kind of win that'll cut a team right to the bone. Braves win it 5-4 and even up the series. What an unbelievable last last 3 innings here in Atlanta, Georgia. And if you weren't here to watch it or listen to it on the radio, you wouldn't believe that it happened the way that it did. But it's the Braves who win it 5-4 over the Phillies, and we're heading to Philadelphia with the series all square. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
The reason he's never seen a play like that is because there's never been a play like that, at least not in a postseason game. It's never happened before. Let me tell you something. It even sounded cool in Spanish.
Duro este batazo, es peligroso la bola, hacia atrás va el jardinero y la tiene en el guante Michael Harris. Gran atrapada del jardinero central, el tiro a la inicial y se completa el doble play y termina el partido. Con la defensa y su ofensiva, los Bravos de Atlanta logran venir de atrás y consiguen una épica victoria. 5 carreras por 4.
Goal! That's what I expected to hear. Goal! That's what I expected to hear. Oh, goal! I mean, there was so many things going on in that play. First off, Michael Harris runs almost 100 feet to get to the ball. I mean, he goes over 30 yards to get to that ball. Then he climbs the fence to make the catch. It was not a home run. But he climbs the fence to make the catch, and I'm sitting there worried about, someday somebody's going to get a cleat caught in that chain link fence, where the bullpen is, and you just worry about them hurting themselves. But that's just the old man to me worrying about that thing. Then Harris gets it in quickly, but he misses the cutoff, man. And there's Austin Riley. He's screaming, and he's flying. He is screaming to tell him to get the ball to first. He's not going over to back up. He said it. He goes, I was not going over to back up. It looks like, there's Austin Riley to back up the play. He was just running across the infield, yelling at them to get the ball to first. And then when the ball comes through, was it Albies? I think it comes through Albies. When the ball comes through him, Austin Riley just scoops the ball up. He snags it, and he makes the throw to first all in one motion. Like it's like a slow grounder to third. He just makes it all in one motion to get Harper. It's just a bonkers play. It's just a bonkers play all the way around. And then a couple of hours later, the Dodgers dropped their second game at home, and all of a sudden things are completely flipped over. I mean, look, the Braves have to win Game 3 tomorrow in Philadelphia. Tomorrow afternoon, 4 o'clock, we'll have it for you right here on the Zone, and they got to win that game. It's not like you can, they still have 2 chances after. No. They got to win Game 3. They got to get the home ice back. They got to win Game 3. They cannot go and have their backs against the wall. And I know it's Aaron Nola tomorrow. Don't know who's going for the Braves yet. Got to win that game. Got to win that game. Got to get them out of there at some point in time. Look, they were getting no hit through 5 innings. They got to get them out of the game. Now, tonight, you can tune in as the Orioles try to stave off elimination at the Texas Rangers. I mean, it's unreal, really. The Dodgers, the Orioles, each lost their first 2 at home. The Braves almost lost their first 2 at home, if not for Superman and cleats there in Atlanta, Austin Riley. So, if you drop the first 2 at home, only 11% have come back to win a 5-game series after losing their first 2 games at home. That's what the Dodgers and the Orioles are facing. Thankfully, the Braves aren't facing that. But only 11% have come back to win a 5-game series after dropping the first 2 games. All right, so there's your baseball update. It was scintillating yesterday. Coming up in a few minutes, Justin Ferguson of the Auburn Observer is back as Auburn gets ready to head to Baton Rouge, where the Tigers are an 11.5-point dog or favorite, depending on which Tigers you prefer. So what did Auburn get done during the bye other than calling all the players' parents? I mean, what's up with that? Is that a good use of time during the bye? I mean, how long do you think it took? The whole staff was involved. So maybe each guy on the staff had 10 or 11 guys, maybe 8 guys that they had to call, 7 guys. So maybe it wasn't too bad. Maybe they did it like during a lunch hour. And how did Freeze decide who he would call? Like, who does the GA call and who does Hugh Freeze call? Whose parents does he call? So we'll get Justin Ferguson in. We'll talk about whether or not they're actually going to be able to throw the ball at all. And if they can break this run that they're on, 6 straight games against P5 opponents, and they haven't hit 100 yards passing yet. I mean, it's ridiculous. Tonight is opening night in the NHL as well, and it's going to open up in Nashville. Okay, is that in Nashville? Or is it it's in Nashville, right? Tampa Bay Lightning and the Nashville Predators. 4 o'clock. It's in. I believe it's in Tampa. I think it's in Tampa. Tampa Bay. That game is at 4:30 Central Time in Tampa Bay. So the Predators get to open the season in Tampa Bay. It's a triple header tonight. They got this Connor Bernard kid is 18 years old, and he is the next superstar. He's with the Blackhawks, number 1 draft pick overall this past summer. And the Blackhawks and the Penguins are coming up at 7 o'clock tonight. That's on ESPN as well. Bernard going against Sidney Crosby. Sidney Crosby was Connor Bernard's hero his whole life growing up. And so now he gets to open against him. So, a lot of exciting stuff going on there. And by the way, the Havoc begins season number 20 in Birmingham, October 20th, with the home opener on the 27th. I'm fired up for that. The SPHL is 20 years old as well. The Havoc and the Knoxville Ice Bears, they are original teams that have played every season. They even played during the pandemic. The Havoc and the Knoxville Ice Bears are the only original teams from the SPHL. Now, Macon was in the league with a different team that moved and left and then came back, and now they're in there. But as far as I know, I'm pretty sure I'm not making this up. The Huntsville Havoc and the Knoxville Ice Bears, the original teams in the league, have played all 20 years. I got to be honest with you. Why aren't they opening the season against each other, right? I mean, shouldn't Huntsville and Knoxville be playing against each other in a one-off game? Like no other games that night, just opening up, celebrating the 20th season of the SPHL with Huntsville and Knoxville playing each other. I mean, that's the way I would have done it, but what do I know? Greg Wyshynski covers puck for ESPN.com. He's coming up at the top of the one to preview the upcoming season. And then after Greg, we will conduct this week's Beat the Big Dog. Since I am going to be out the rest of the week, we're doing an early Beat the Big Dog. So your chance to win the tickets to the Music City Bowl is coming up about 1:25 today. And since tomorrow, Steve Moulton is going to be covering for me. So, and I thought that would be kind of cute because Steve Moulton will have David Moulton on. They're not related. All right, but Steve and Grizz will have David Moulton on. So it'll be the Moulton and Grizz show tomorrow. Anyway, since Steve Moulton is covering for me tomorrow, I figured he would be our guest picker this week. I mean, why not, right? We'll make him our guest picker today, and appreciation for him filling in for me. The best any of the guests have been able to do is 3-3 so far. I should give the guests like a gift for being our guest picker. Maybe the guests should get like champies, just for being our guest picker. We should hook them up with some chow. Maybe I'll hook Steve Moulton up with some Bad Daddy's burgers. I don't know if he's been there yet or not. Maybe I'll hook him up with some Bad Daddy's for being our guest picker. That might be kind of good. By the way, the best any of the guest pickers have been able to do so far is 3-3 this season. That was Mo Carter went 3-3 and Wes Neighbors went 3-3. That's it. Nobody's had a winning record yet against the spread as a guest picker. Now, I should be talking, right? I mean, I am 16-20 on the season in Beat the Big Dog against the spread, which is horrible. Horrible. Worst start to a season for me since ever. And I've been doing this Beat the Big Dog for 15 years. Horrible start to the season. And yet I still lead you guys by 3 games, and I lead Grizz by 1 game. So I got 5 college games and 1 NFL game for us to pick today. Phone lines are open at 256-576-4977. You can also text the show at 732-9TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. It is a great way to communicate with us. My X feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. You can watch the show there if you're watching it there, or if you go to our Facebook page at 97.7 ESPN, you can get the link to our YouTube channel, WZZN TV. And if you're watching, you see behind me the pool set up, because I am poolside at my daughter's home in Southwest Florida. All right, that's our set today. We're poolside. I got a nice big screen TV over here in front of me to my left where they're showing highlights of the NBA for whatever reason. I got that going on over there. I got this going on. I got the pool going on. I want to get in the pool, but I'm recording. I'm working all day. Believe me, guys, when I tell you that, because you see that pool back there, yesterday and today, 6:30 in the morning till about 5:30, 6 o'clock at night each day working because I'm going to be out of the box for the next few days. So, unfortunately, I don't know if I'm going to get in that thing. I haven't been in that pool yet. Junkyard Babe's been in there. I haven't been in there yet. Sunday I could have went in there, but I watched football all day Sunday with my son-in-law. So that's a whole different animal. All right, make sure that you get the app. All right, get our app. Just search 97.7 ESPN The Zone from your app store, and then you get the links to all of the Zone 2, Zone 3, Zone 4, Zone 5 as well. They're alternate streaming channels, all that great programming there. We got 5 more games for you coming up on Friday night on our high school football streaming network. So you're going to want to have the app so you can pick a game and listen to a game on the app. On the air, it'll be Buckhorn and Lee, Josh Carey filling in for me on that game as well. He'll have John Boy Dewey Magoo with him. John Boy is doing everything in his power not to do the game in Harry Carey voice. He's just like, when he heard he was doing the game with Josh Carey, he just broke into Harry Carey, and I had to tell him, look, don't do the game in Harry Carey. He's going to do everything in his power not to do the game in Harry Carey voice. So we'll see how that works. I don't know if he's going to be taking any liquor to the booth or anything like that. I'm not sure how that's going to go. All right, over there in a little glass booth with the slanted ceiling, playing the platters that matter and the stacks of wax, a man in the phones, keeping us on the air and out of his ever-loving mind last night over the Atlanta Braves. It's the one and only DJ Grizzy Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? Detective. It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I mean, this is ridiculous. It's a radio show. It ain't a 1-hour television spectacular.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. Now, Tom. Hey, Tom.
He may be the smartest person that I've ever met.
Testosterone high today.
What's that?
Testosterone, whatever the it is. Testosterone.
I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
It really doesn't matter what you think. All right? It really doesn't matter what you say.
Chris, I am not doing a belly flop into the pool at the end of the show. Okay? Tell Lynch that ain't happening.
I'm curious like a cat. No, I want to see you do it. I want to see you do it.
To be honest with you, I want to do it. I guess you want to do it now because it's getting a little warm out here. It's about 85 degrees right now. The problem is I have an interview scheduled immediately after the show that I've got to do as soon as the show is over. It's the final interview for this week's edition of Bassmaster Radio, and so I've got to get that interview in the can. Then I've got to get all that material sent off to the network. Then I need to get a little bit cleaned up, and we're meeting my parents later. My parents still alive, still living down here in Southwest Florida. We're meeting them at Doc Ford's on the river down by the beach a little bit later on. Yeah, it does. It sounds nice. It's look. Let me just say this about that. It's a little annoying because my parents, both of them are hard of hearing.
Huh?
My father is still working. My father is still working. He did all the lighting. His team, his crews. He owns an electrical contracting firm. Of course he does. And his company did all the electrical and all the lighting for Doc Ford's after the vicious hurricane that came through here last year that destroyed everything exactly a year ago in September. So Doc Ford's, they didn't think it was ever going to open again. And Doc Ford's is just, I mean, it's iconic type place. And I've read all the Doc Ford books as well, 26 Doc Ford books about, he's an old fishing guide from Southwest Florida, and yet he works for the CIA as well, and he's doing all these, nefarious missions and all this stuff. Anyway, it's a great series, the Doc Ford series of books. Randy Wayne White is the author on those. So anyway, they opened up a series of Doc Ford restaurants, and this is the first one, and it's iconic, and it was right down on the water, and it got destroyed. It got leveled, by the hurricane like everything else. So they got it reopened. It took a year. It just reopened. My dad's company did all the electrical and all the lighting. So he's like, meet me down at Doc Ford's. We're going to take you to dinner tonight at Doc Ford's. And I'm like, Okay, I want to go to Doc Ford's, but why? Well, I want to show you what we did down there. You know, we helped them get that thing reopened. I said, Dad, your company's an electrician.
You're going to have a hard hat on it by the end of the night.
Right. I mean, what am I looking at?
Put your hard hat on. Come on, Tom.
I'm like, are we going to, tear the walls down so I can see the wiring that you guys run? I mean, I don't know what you want me to look at. No, we did the lighting, too. I said, so we're going to walk around Doc Ford's and looking up
right
at the
here,
lights?
Daisy chained them all the way around them.
Yeah.
I mean, worthless information that nobody.
Should I go around with an extension cord and plug in different outlets to see how it works, or something like that? I go, what do you want from me? But he's very proud.
You got your voltmeter?
Yeah. Take the voltmeter around. He's very proud, and so and he always picks up the tab, so it's worth it to do it. We'll go down there, but all I say this about that: as annoying as your parents can be when they're old. And I'm kind of an annoying parent, too. But as annoying as your parents can be when they're old, and they're both 84 years old next month, they're precious, right? I mean, they are precious. You don't know. You never know. You never know when it's going to be. My wife always yells at me like I dodge his calls. He calls me. My dad calls me once or twice a day. What's going on? What's up? What do you know? What do you know about anything? Calls me Sunday in the middle of the day, wants to talk about the Browns game. How the Browns doing? Are you getting a game? I'm like, Dad, they're on a bye this week. I mean, come on. Are you kidding me? You're like, you were the biggest Browns fan in the world. Now you don't know that they're on a bye this week? But I can't say that to him because then I'm being disrespectful. So my wife said, I'll try and dodge his call. I won't answer it. And my wife then, she's like, that could be your mom calling on your dad's phone to tell you that, your dad's in the hospital or something. You know what I mean? Because you don't know when that call's going to come.
Yeah.
So she guilts me into answering the phone.
Hey, call me, please.
I got to answer.
Please call me.
Yeah, I got to answer the phone every time he calls. So now, I told him that too. I said, my wife makes me answer the phone every time you call now, because just in case you're dead. So I ask him when he calls, if I'm busy, I ask him. I said, "Are you dead?" And he says, "No, I just wanted to see how you doing." How you doing?
My mom is always calls "What do you need?" My dad is "What do you want?" I mean, it's two different types of calls. My dad is usually 9 times out of 10. It's just what do you want? What do you honestly need and want? My mom's like, "What do you need?" Right away. Okay.
That's when you call. I got
to see the dog.
I never call them. I never call them because they call me constantly. My mother doesn't.
Well,
I'm
my
not
mom
real close
texts me
with
constantly. My mom's like that, but my dad's kind of he's an introvert for sure.
I've never been close with my mom, and I don't mean it. I mean, I love my mom, and she loves me, but we just have never been close. I'm super close with my dad. My dad and I are like brothers. I mean, he's only 20 years older than me. I keep telling him I'm waiting for him to kick because that's when the meter starts for me. So when my dad died, my dad's 21 years older than me. So when my dad dies, that's when I start my clock. I figure that's how many years I got left. I figure I got to live as long as he did. But the life he lived, I can't believe he's still alive. He can't believe he's still alive. He's like, I don't even understand why I wake up every day. But he just keeps going to work. And I'm like, I stopped hounding him 10 years ago. I tried to get him to retire, for 10 years. And then 10 years ago, I stopped hounding him. He's got all the money he'll ever need. And he goes, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? If I retire, he goes, I don't play golf anymore. I'm too old. I don't go fishing anymore. I don't have a boat anymore. What am I going to do? And then when he comes to see me and I take him fishing, he always is like, you got to take me on your boat. You got to take me on your boat. You got to take me on your boat. So I take him on the freaking boat, right? We get out there. Hour and a half later, he's like, there's no fish in this lake. It's too rough. You're beating my kidneys. I can't even get the boat up. I'm plane. Yeah. I'm like, Dad, if I don't go at least 45 miles an hour, the boat won't plane. I can't take – this is a bass boat. I can't go 20, okay? It's going to be worse. You're going to be pounding into waves if I go 20. Let me stretch this thing out a little bit, get up on top of the waves. And he just complains and complains and complains. So then we get off the water an hour and a half after we go, and then he calls every one of his cronies in Florida and tells them about what a great fisherman I am and how great my boat is and how beautiful the lake is and how the mountains and everything else. I'm like, you were out there for an hour and a half, and you had your eyes closed half the time.
Complaining the whole time, too.
I'm going to get him to be the guest picker one of these days. Huh? He knows something. He knows a little something about the line. I'll just leave it at that. He knows something about from back in the day. He knows something about
trying to get that electrical business go up and going.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be like, let me tell you about that 50-watt light bulb I changed. I'm like, all right, fine. All right, let me get a break. When we come back, Justin Ferguson, we'll talk some Auburn next right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Do you have discomfort in your legs? Varicose veins can affect not only how your legs look, but how they feel. Symptoms of varicose veins include pain, swelling, aching, heaviness, and fatigue. Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville can diagnose and treat your varicose veins with the latest minimally invasive techniques. Diagnosis and treatment is covered by most insurances. Call 256-715-7151 to schedule your free screening. Go to bestveincarehuntsville.com.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that His mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
These days, saving time is important, and saving money is even more so. That's where Eagle Masonry and Insulation comes in. Over the years, Eagle has expanded their services to meet the needs of folks like you in our area. If your home needs updating or you have some projects that you just haven't gotten to, Eagle can help. They install shower doors, mirrors, shelving, blinds, bath hardware, and lots more. Call Eagle Masonry and Insulation today at 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time, and Eagle saves you money.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Thom Abraham here for my friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Are you thinking about home improvements? Well, use your equity now and refi later. Or use your equity to eliminate consumer debt forever, then refi to a lower rate and shorter term when rates drop. North Alabama Mortgage can also help you if you're thinking about buying an investment property or a second home at the lake or the beach or in the mountains. We have great programs to make that happen. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Next time you're online looking for landscaping inspiration, open Instagram and check out Southern Gent Landscaping. They can help make your yard your dream outdoor oasis. Southern Gent Landscaping can handle it all, from landscape maintenance and installation to irrigation and hardscapes, even AstroTurf. Turn your yard into a landscape you'll be proud to show off. Call Southern Gent Landscaping at 256-509-6088. 509-6088. Southern Gent Landscaping. Professional landscaping performed with satisfaction guaranteed.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family-owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Alumni Hall is the ultimate shopping experience for Alabama and Auburn fans. Located right here in Huntsville, come shop the best selection of officially licensed apparel, accessory, and gifts. Alumni Hall has the newest products from Nike, Under Armour, Yeti, New Era, Champion, Columbia, Southern Tide, Peter Millar, and more. And you can earn cash back with their Hall Pass rewards. Alumni Hall, located in the Bridge Street Shopping Center, or shop anytime at alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where fans shop. Look the part. Go to Alumni Hall.
Each week, check out our latest zone deal online at 977ESPN.com.
I'm eating good food.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It'll be playing Hold That Tiger.
We play Oh That Tiger. Segment of the Tom Abraham Show is brought to you by Alumni Hall. For all your Alabama and Auburn gear, go to Bridge Street and check out Alumni Hall. From gifts to tailgating items to the coolest clothing, Alumni Hall next to the Kona Grill, across from the Connor Steakhouse, has got it all. Look the part. Go to Alumni Hall. Don't be caught at your party watching a game or tailgating without your gear from Alumni Hall. All right, joining us now, a guy that may or may not be singing "Oh That Tiger," is the one and the only Justin Ferguson from the Auburn Observer. Everything you need to know about Auburn is at the Auburn Observer. Ferg, welcome back to the show. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm fantastic. So what do you think of Hugh Freeze's singing? Is he any good with singing "Oh That Tiger" there down in Baton Rouge?
That Tiger.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. He was in a mood yesterday. He had a lot of stories and kind of jokes to tell, kind of coming off that off week. I guess he's feeling a little bit looser than maybe after coming immediately off of a game. So yeah, it was a pretty entertaining press conference yesterday with the little karaoke there.
I'm trying to figure out how I feel about them calling all of the players' parents during the break. I guess if you got the whole staff involved, I guess it wouldn't take too long. I mean, maybe that didn't take too long. It doesn't seem like the best use of time during a bye week, but on the other hand, it doesn't seem like the best use of time during a bye week. As long as I guess it didn't take too long, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's position coaches calling players' parents, just kind of checking in at this point in the year and saying, hey, you got any questions, any feedback, anything like that, and then Freeze would take the calls from, players or the parents that, wanted to talk to him kind of directly a little bit more, usually about playing time and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just kind of being transparent and being open, having a good line of communication. And I think that's kind of the big thing is that under the last staff, you just didn't really feel like there was a lot of that at all. A lot of players' families and players themselves kind of felt like they were kind of frozen out at times from what was going on. So I think it's just kind of more of an effort, just to, especially in the year one when you're building stuff and you're not necessarily, selling out to try to win a championship. Like that's not the realistic goal for this team this year. I think it's just kind of, building up that culture and that that progress that you need to have, within this team because it's a pretty tough stretch they've gone through and it's not over yet.
So I guess if you have the guys calling their position players, it probably only 6 to 8 guys maybe that each guy had to call. So maybe that didn't take too much time, right?
Yeah, no, I think it'd be good. I mean, offensive line, you might need some extra guys there to help you out because it's just the amount of dudes you have there. But yeah, no, it was definitely a time where just wanting to be kind of open and transparent with one another because this is a brand new roster, a lot of moving parts, a lot of stuff changed in a short amount of time, and so you take a break here a little bit and just kind of get on the same page with everybody, moving forward and just trying to kind of keep that up, that relationship, and if you have that kind of reputation for looping the families in, the parents in, and stuff like that, talking, I mean that can only a reputation like that can only help you moving forward, especially with recruits that want to feel like their coaches are looking out for them and the parents want to know that the coaches are looking out for them.
How many of the parents you think asked Hugh Freeze, hey, do you think you can throw for 100 yards maybe against a P5 team? Because you haven't done that in 6 games. I mean, they're going to need to do. You can't be competitive against LSU with that offense. As great as the Auburn defense has been, with that offense of LSU's, I mean, they're going to have to be able to throw it a little bit, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the team to do it against. LSU has been just pretty bad through the air the last 3 weeks. The last 3 weeks against Arkansas and Ole Miss and Missouri, they've given up over 1,000 yards passing. They're towards the bottom of pretty much every category in college football right now in pass defense. So if you can't throw the ball against these guys, you're going to probably be in trouble for the rest of the way. But yeah, I mean, for Auburn, it's just they went back to the drawing board this past week, did a lot of self-scouting, a lot of self-evaluation, and Freeze was honest about the fact, like, hey, if we've got something that we can't run, let's just get it out of the plan. We got to find things that work for us. We got to find things that we can really drill down and make sure that, everybody's kind of clicking, whether it's quarterbacks, wide receivers, offensive line, the coaches, all that, because you got to have that kind of balance. Auburn's been able to run the ball pretty successfully this year. They're one of only 20-something teams in the country that are averaging over 200 yards rushing a game, but they just haven't thrown the ball well at all. And, LSU has given up a ton through the air, a lot of bust, a lot of just breakdowns. They've got a really good front. They've got guys that, Freeze asked Freeze about that defense yesterday from LSU. He mentioned 3 guys that play up front for them, including Harold Perkins. So, I mean, it's one of those things that for Auburn, it's like you got to take advantage of it. This is a pass defense that is struggling. They're searching for answers. Freeze said, the way they defended against Ole Miss, their game plan looked completely different than what they did against Missouri. They're just trying to find something that works. I think Auburn's trying to do the same thing on offense, and so it'll be kind of a very interesting battle there because Auburn's going to want to run. They're going to want to work the clock. They're going to want to, keep the ball out of that LSU offense's hands. But you got to be able to throw the ball because LSU is a team that has really good talent up front, and if you are one-dimensional, they will tee off on it. So you got to take advantage of the fact that they're scrambling back there in the secondary.
Justin Ferguson with us from the Auburn Observer. Did Brian Kelly really say yesterday that Auburn would probably throw the ball more if it had LSU's talent at wide receiver? I mean, in a way, that feels like he's throwing shade, and in another way, he's probably right.
Yeah, no, he definitely is right there. He talked about, I believe he was talking about Malik Neighbors and their other, really good Brian Thomas, their top receiver. Yeah, he said kind of in those lines, he's like, look, we're expecting, you expect the Hugh Freeze, Philip Montgomery offense to throw the ball a lot more. And he's like, if they had better talent at wide receiver, they'd probably be throwing it more, kind of like we do. And he gave credit to Freeze for finding a way to get and Montgomery for finding a way to get this running game going. But yeah, it's just, I think we saw that against the Georgia game, in the Georgia game a couple weeks ago. The fact that Georgia had such a good team to begin with, and then they go out and get 2 established SEC wide receivers and Ra Thomas, and the Missouri receiver, whose name I'm blanking on right now. But, they did a good job of going and getting those guys, whereas Auburn had to go into the transfer portal to fill out their wide receiver room. They got guys from Group 5 and FCS, and it's not It's not to say those guys can't do it, but it's a pretty big gap. And then you look at this matchup this week, LSU's got a really, really talented receiver crew, and Auburn just doesn't right to this point. Jay Ferris made some plays. You've seen Shane Hooks, off and on this year. You like what you have in tight end with Rivaldo Fairweather, but that's kind of it. And so, yeah, Auburn's going to run the ball. They're going to want to work the clock, but I think everybody can kind of see they just don't really have it out wide right now to kind of be this, team that's going to throw for 300 yards. And that's part of the reason why they've gone so hard on wide receivers in recruiting. And you get, Perry Thompson, and you get Bryce Kane, and you get Malcolm Simmons, and you've got some more guys you can try to get in. It's going to be fixed with recruiting. Right now, they're just trying to survive with that crew.
Peyton Thorne, I think I asked you this before. What is his situation as far as eligibility left? Does he have another year after this?
Yes, he could. He could come back for another year. He redshirted in 2019, played in 2020, a little bit in the COVID year, started the last 2 seasons at Michigan State, and so this year is technically his 4th year playing, but he has redshirted. But he gets that free COVID year. He's one of, obviously one of the last guys that is going to be able to get that. So he could come back for another year, this upcoming year.
Did they give any indication as to how they split reps during the bye? Was it more even, or is it still, was Thorne? Do you think Thorne was getting the vast majority of the first team reps?
Yeah, Thorne was getting the one reps. They came out of that Georgia game thinking he made some strides. He looked better than he did against A&M. You got to think 9 incompletions against, he's 10 of 19 against Georgia. 6 of them were balls that went to the receiver. A few were straight up drops. Other ones were contested catches that Auburn had a chance of making. You catch a few of those. We're talking about a completely different game from Auburn and a completely different game from Peyton Thorne. Not perfect. He still made some tough decisions, and there's some things he's really got to work on. But they came out of that game against Georgia thinking, okay, there's some progress, there's some signs there. We just got to tighten up and make it better. Now, I will say, 2 weeks ago after the Georgia game, I asked Hugh Freeze about Robbie Ashford and using him more like they did in Georgia, and he said, look, he's got a package. We're going to keep using that package. We probably should have ran it more. So whereas I don't think you're in a situation where you're going to see Robbie Ashford take over and be like QB1 coming out of this off week, I wouldn't be surprised, especially the way LSU's defended this year, if you may see a little bit more Robbie Ashford this weekend because, he's been so dynamic on the ground.
Justin Ferguson with us from the Auburn Observer. I would think that Auburn fan would have gotten boosted a little bit emotionally seeing Georgia just eviscerate Kentucky. A 5-0 team that beat Florida. I would think you're right. You come off of that, you see what they did there, and you say, well, they didn't do that to us. We went in there and played them tooth and nail, and look what they just did to Kentucky. And some of that may be Georgia, hitting their stride. But on the other hand, you got to look at that and say, that is a sign maybe when you look at, opponents that maybe, Auburn is playing a little better football than they thought.
Yeah, I mean, really in the Georgia game, it was just the third down breakdowns on defense really killed them. And Bryant Bowers is going to do Bryant Bowers things. Carson Beck played extremely well, but I thought Auburn played well on defense outside of those breakdowns in that game. And those were costly, obviously. But, they were the first team to run the ball for more than 200 yards on Georgia in 4 years. They were the second team during this winning streak to even play a close game with Georgia in SEC play. That's pretty significant. And then, it was the first time Auburn's really had a good 4-quarter game against Georgia since 2017. I mean, that's all progress. And then, like you said, you go watch Georgia just rip Kentucky in half on Saturday, and you think, okay, maybe we're not, as far back as people may think that they are at this point. And this LSU game is a really good example of that. They are double-digit underdogs somewhere around in that neighborhood. If they go to Baton Rouge in a night game, play competitively, play another really good even game, and give themselves a chance to win, I think that's just another sign of taking steps forward, of making some progress that they really need to show in this game. And obviously I think they'll, if everything clicks, and you can play well, I mean, they have a chance to go down there and win. It's just going to be really, really difficult. And then you come back next week, you get Ole Miss at home, you get State and Arkansas and Vanderbilt down the stretch, you get New Mexico State again.
Yeah.
Like, everything's kind of set up for them to go on a run. We talked about this at the beginning of the year. This is just kind of survival mode these next 3 weeks. So even if you don't win this game, but if you come out of this stretch against A&M, Georgia, and LSU and feel like you've gotten better and feel like you've made some progress, that could really spring you forward to the second half of the season.
Yeah, early in the season, before the season, I thought the key was, splitting the Ole Miss Mississippi State game. Ole Miss looks pretty good. But Arkansas now looks vulnerable. That was one I didn't see. I had that one penciled in as an L. They go at Vanderbilt and then at Arkansas after the two Mississippi schools. But now Arkansas doesn't seem that daunting, anymore. So maybe Ole Miss is a little bit better, but maybe Arkansas is an opportunity. It just feels like that. It felt like at first blush that 11.5 number that is out there right now that LSU is favored by. It just seems a little rich. And on the other hand, they've scored 80-something points in the last couple of weeks. They've also given up 90-something points in the last couple of weeks. But it still feels like, if LSU is piling up those kind of numbers, it's going to be tough for Auburn to get into a tennis match with them. They need to somehow get some stops, against LSU and keep them in a reasonable number. Keep them in the 30s anyway and hope for an offensive explosion, basically, against LSU.
Yeah, and it's possible. I mean, that LSU defense has struggled a ton through the air, but also on the ground. I mean, they're giving up a good chunk of yardage on the ground this season. I believe they're like 110th in the country in yards per carry on defense. So, like, Auburn should be able to run the ball on them and, find some ways to do it. But you got to be able to be balanced. You got to be able to throw it some. And for Auburn on defense, it's like, Freeze was pretty honest about it yesterday. He was like, I don't think you can stop these guys. You just want to hold them to field goals. And that's
right.
Like, if they start stacking touchdown drives on you, it could be a long night. But if you can get some momentum and get off the field on third down, force them into some field goal situations, you can hang around in this game. And that was kind of what Auburn did early against Georgia, kind of getting some stops like that, making some moves. I mean, look, A&M has looked pretty good on offense with their new quarterback, coming in after the injury. Second quarter of that game, Auburn was on a streak where they made A&M's offense look just as bad as Auburn's did. So, this defense is capable of making stops. They're capable of stringing together some big plays. You're going to have to do that against LSU. And just know LSU's going to get their points. But if they're coming from threes instead of sevens, you've got a much better chance of hanging in there.
Yeah, it is kind of fascinating when you look at the game. You got an Auburn team looking at this game and saying this might be an opportunity to get our offense going. And then you got an LSU team that's looking at this game and saying this might be an opportunity to get our defense going. Both teams, looking at getting that opposite side of the ball going.
Yeah, it's the stoppable force and the movable object that we're about to see in this game. And, it is interesting, though, like with LSU's defense, they still got talent. I mean, Errol Perkins is still an awesome player. Mason Smith, some of those guys are really, really good. I will say, they've struggled the last 3 weeks. They really gave State a really hard time in week 3 moving the ball. Like, Mississippi State had really no success on offense in that game. So, like, they're capable of playing better. It just hadn't really shown these last few weeks. And it is funny because, Ole Miss gets stymied against Alabama and then goes and wins a shootout against LSU. Arkansas doesn't look good at all on offense, around those games against LSU, but they put up a ton of yards and a ton of points in that game. So, like, it's possible. I mean, it's possible for Auburn. I know they've looked bad, but if there's a time for this offense to get going, it is coming off an off week, and it's coming against a defense that's just struggling right now. You gotta kick those guys while they're down. I'm not saying Auburn's going to throw for 300 on Saturday, but if they can get back to feeling like they've got some explosive potential through the air and they can run the ball with it, they might be able to pull off something special down there.
Always a pleasure. Great stuff. Justin Ferguson has been our guest. Ferg, I appreciate you. Be safe down there now. Nighttime at Baton Rouge can get a little squirrely, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, Tom.
All right, thank you. Justin Ferguson. Good stuff. All right, let's get a break in. We'll come back. Final segment of the first hour of the show. We got a chance maybe to slip you in here as well. It's the Tom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Built to win. Touchdown, Alabama. Built for championships. Throws intercepted, Alabama. Built by Bama. Alabama is still Alabama. The Crimson Tide play here. Join us Saturday as the Crimson Tide take on Arkansas in an SEC showdown. Our coverage begins at 8 a.m. on your home for Alabama football.
Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Here's Bobby White from Woody Anderson Ford on their service department.
President's Award winner 2 years in a row. That's only given to the top 10% of Ford dealers in customer satisfaction. So we're very proud of the service department. And our body shop. If you happen to get into an accident, which not a lot of people just want to go down and see a body shop, but if you get into an accident, award-winning body shop. We have state-of-the-art paint booths back there. They're waterborne paints that we use, friendly for the environment. We've got our production system, the way things are in and out. We have the fastest cycle rate in town of getting your vehicle in, getting your vehicle out, and assured that it's fixed right. We take pictures before it's wrecked, and not only after, but we take it as we're putting the parts on. All done to above industry standards. So I'm proud of our body shop too. Don't forget our parts department. So if you don't happen to need parts, performance parts, or just parts if you're a weekend mechanic.
Woody Anderson Ford, located at the corner of Jordan and Sparkman, as well as Hughes Road and Madison. You can also check out the great deals at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time, or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
The Huntsville Sports Commission is driven by you, driven by those with grit, determination, and a goal to succeed. This is why we do what we do. The Huntsville Sports Commission promotes an enhanced quality of life in the Huntsville area through sports. We work hard to make sure those who come to Huntsville to compete have all they need to be the best they can be. The Huntsville Sports Commission. We do sports. Find out more at huntsvillesports.org. What's better than 2 end-zone sports bars?
3 end-zone sports bars.
And we have you covered with our original location on University across from Red Lobster, in Jones Valley on Cecil Ashburn near Carl T. Jones, and our newest location in the Midtown District on McMurtry Drive opposite the Target Plaza. All locations feature the NFL Sunday Ticket, Tuesday half-price burgers, and Wednesday $1 jumbo wings all day long. You're never far from the end zone. End Zone Sports Bar.
Is your AC system or heating unit making those sounds that go bump in the middle of the night? Thomas here from Talon Heating and Air again. Thomas, you guys are just a phone call away from keeping those ghosts and goblins from causing nightmare problems.
That's right. We're offering a $59 special right now to do a heating tune-up. That's getting your air conditioner or your heater ready for the wintertime. We're also doing a free gas safety inspection along with that. So if you have gas in your home, we have Master Gas here on staff. We're certified with the state to take care of all your gas issues. So we're going to throw that in with that $59 tune-up.
And if you can get that tune-up now, it'll be ready to go once the cold temperatures set in.
That's right. Yeah, all you have to do is give us a call at 256-503-4490. Visit us at our website, talenthvac.com. We'll be more than happy to get out there and get you tuned up.
One more time with the phone number.
256-503-4490.
Talent Heating and Air. Don't let those heating and cooling units go bump in the night.
If you work in a dangerous or logistically intense industry, you know good training can be a challenge. There are training costs, safety concerns, and difficulty replicating real-world scenarios. There's a better way used right now in the Army and in all our armed services to better prepare our heroes, and it's available to you in your organizations. Higher Echelon's Game Development Team is revolutionizing learning in military training, dangerous industry, STEM, and sports performance domains with cutting-edge virtual training that immerses you in lifelike scenarios without the cost and safety concerns for trainees. With Higher Echelon's game-based training, you'll experience realistic simulations, precision accuracy, and unparalleled safety. Higher Echelon founder Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets and puts that experience to use. His team has been building cutting-edge virtual training environments for soldiers and clients for a decade. Higher Echelon, the name you can trust for advanced training solutions. Reach out at higherechelon.com to get your free consultation. Go higher and go Army. These days, saving time is important, and saving money is even more so. That's where Eagle Masonry and Insulation comes in. Over the years, Eagle has expanded their services to meet the needs of folks like you in our area. If you're ready to lower your utility bills, Eagle can insulate your home and help you save money with fiberglass, spray foam, and cellulose insulation, and can help you decide what's best for your project. Call Eagle Masonry and Insulation today at 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time, and Eagle saves you money.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of statistics, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and an enormous selection of players and stat options are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million football fans who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/primetime and use code PRIMETIME. That's code PRIMETIME at prizepicks.com/primetime for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Online at 977ESPN.com.
Stream them online.
Call in.
It's an important job, and it's an vital organization.
Tweet in and join in. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. Poolside is where we are coming to you from. Those of you that are watching the feed on WZZN TV or on Twitter will see that there's this beautiful pool that is behind me. I'm not into pool, though. I'm here working with you guys, all right? I'm not. Grizz, don't be shaking your head. I'm working here with you people, all right? I'm a man of the people, you know? I mean,
he's got it made.
You know, yeah, a little bit. Look,
kicking back.
Blessed. I'm very blessed.
Himself.
Yeah, there's no doubt. No doubt. I work in the toy department of life. All right. I mean, there's no doubt about that. We have the greatest job in the world. Talk sports during the week. One of the deacons at my church sent me a little text. Didn't know where I was this past Sunday. You know, when you're missing in church, you go to a small church like mine, and you know, they're kind of like, you know, they want to know what happened, where were you. So one of the deacons sent me a text, and he's a fisherman. So he's like, hey, missed you at church on Sunday. You know, that's a subtle way of saying, where the heck were you? So he's like, hey, missed you at church. I said, I forgot to tell you guys, I am in Florida, so I'm going to be fishing in the Bassmaster Open. And he's like, oh, man, you know, what a life. You get to talk about bass fishing, and you get to, you know, you get to fish.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, you know, that's not the only thing I do for a living. I don't, you know, it's not just about going fishing and fishing in tournaments and reporting on tournaments and being the host of Bassmaster Radio nationally. That's not the only thing. I said, you know, Monday through Friday, I got to talk about, you know, football for 2 hours every single day. Okay. So sometimes it's like that. And he's like, yeah, you know, tough gig. Somebody has to do it. Those that do this job, that complain about this job, are idiots. I tell them
It's
every
like
time, you know, I tell them every time, look, there are things in every job that are not your favorite parts of the job. There's no doubt about it.
Well,
but the reality is, if you complain about this job, you got problems. You need to be doing something else if you're complaining about this gig. Now there are other things. We all multitask, but this 2 hours is the best 2 hours of the day. At least the best 2 hours a day sitting up. That's for sure. All right, coming up, top of the hour. Today is opening day of the NHL. So that means Greg Wyshynski. And we'll get him in here and have him set us up with a little primer for that. Then we'll have a Beat the Big Dog. Steve Moulton is our guest picker. We'll have that coming up later on as well. It's all right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The man the Vikings run their offense through will miss at least the next couple of weeks. Minnesota's Justin Jefferson, considered by many to be the best receiver in the NFL, landing on injured reserve with a hamstring injury. That move will keep him out the next 4 games at minimum. Sensational Dolphins rookie running back Devon A. Chan likely out multiple weeks with a knee injury, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. NHL opening night kicks off with a triple header on ESPN and ESPN Plus. Begins with Lightning Predators, 5:30 Eastern. Then, top overall pick in this year's draft, center Connor Bedard and the Blackhawks visit Sidney Crosby and the Penguins at 8 Eastern. Finally, Golden Knights raise their Stanley Cup banner and then host the Kraken at 10:30 Eastern. Caesars Sportsbook currently listing Carolina as the favorite to win the Cup this season at 15-2, followed by Colorado, Edmonton, and Toronto.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at GenSuperstore.com.
Since 1986, Full Moon Barbecue has been cooking quality meats low and slow over a hickory wood-fired pit. From ribs and wings, brisket, turkey, catfish, and sausage to the best butts in town. If you're planning a holiday or a birthday party, Full Moon has a large banquet room. And Full Moon is ready for your next catering or tailgate. Just call us and we'll take care of everything. 256-713-0070. Full Moon Barbecue on the Parkway next to Costco. The best little pork house in Alabama.
At Bryant Bank, we recognize your time is valuable, and easy, secure access to your finances is essential. That's why we provide the financial tools you need to manage your money on the go and make life a bit easier. At Bryant Bank, we're here to help with instant debit cards, Apple Pay, person-to-person payments, and more. Bryant Bankers want to show you how beneficial our digital banking services can be. Learn more at bryantbank.com. Bryant Bank. Live legendary. Member FDIC.
There's nothing like the freedom you feel when you're on the water in your own boat from Freedom Marine in Guntersville. New or used, Freedom Marine has just the boat to make your time on the water the best it can be. Pontoons, fishing, ski boats, you name it. And all season long, Freedom Marine is giving away 4 packs of Alabama football tickets. Just log on the Freedom Marine Facebook page and like, share, and comment to be eligible. New and used boats, outboard sales, financing, service, and parts. It's Freedom Marine. Highway 431 in Guntersville and online at freedommarincenter.com. Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Listen each Friday to the Woody Anderson Ford High School Football Scoreboard Show, powered by the Huntsville Sports Commission on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The opinions of Thom Abraham are not necessarily the opinions of the radio station or anybody associated with the radio station or ownership. These are strictly his own opinions, and sometimes they're not even his opinions.
You need to be more like a dog. Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about. Be a dog. God bless the show. You are the Messiah. We need more dogs. This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live. Here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
enough to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And this segment of the Tom Abraham Show is brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. Whether you're listening in Alabama or Tennessee or in Florida, North Alabama Mortgage has you covered for all your mortgage needs. You know, average home equity is at an all-time high, but so is average consumer debt. So the rates might be high right now, but you use your equity to pay off the high consumer debt, the student loans, whatever, then you refi when the rates drop, all right? So don't put off a new home purchase either, because when rates drop, the prices will go up. So buy now, get the best price, and then refi when the rates drop, okay? You can get all of that stuff done with North Alabama Mortgage. Brian Hammaker and his team standing by to help you out. Go to NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com. It is the opening day of the NHL season. I know it doesn't feel like it. I'm broadcasting from Florida today. It's about 86 degrees, but it will start in Florida about 120 miles to the north of where I am in Tampa, where the Nashville Predators will be for a 4:30 Central, 5:30 Eastern time game to get this season started with a triple header on ESPN tonight. So who better to talk to when it comes to launching a new season than Greg Wyshynski from ESPN.com to give us a little primer on the season. Greg, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your summer because it's on now.
Oh, it was short. I'll tell you that. It feels short now, especially with the season starting again. But it's cool, man. I'm up in Bristol, Connecticut at ESPN headquarters. We're doing a show called The Drop today at 5 o'clock. It's going to be on all the streaming platforms. And it's dope, man. It's a great time of year. And the fact that we've got 3 games on opening night, all staggered, so we can watch them start to finish is really cool, too.
No, that is really neat. And, you know, does it feel early? I mean, I know it's not. It always surprises me when it happens. You know what I mean? It's like, whoa, wait a minute. We're just halfway through the college football season. We're starting the Bucks right now, and it kind of it's like a little bit of a shock to the system when the season starts or regular season starts.
Yeah, it always seems early, right? And then when you get to June, when they finally hand out the cup, you're like, okay, this has been going on for a while. You know, everybody's at the beach.
Yeah.
They're thinking about summer movies. They're thinking about vacation. And meanwhile, you got 2 teams playing for the Stanley Cup in mid-June. So I don't know. I've talked to a lot of people over the years that would love for the NHL to start their season earlier in September. Maybe do away with the preseason and just hop into it and then finish up maybe in May instead of June. But I know that obviously, like everybody else, they want to avoid the NFL regular season steamroller that hits you in September. So they're pretty content with the way that the schedule is currently constituted.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, we know that everyone in Miami and Vegas was thinking hockey, in late June, right? I mean, what else are you thinking about if you're in Vegas or Miami that time of year?
Well, I mean, in fairness, in Vegas, they're always thinking about hockey. Like, it's kind of incredible to go to Vegas and see like how many roots the Golden Knights have put down versus, say, like the Raiders. Like, it's a hockey town, and that goes for the amount of people that come out to those practices out in Summerlin and the people that come to these games and just how much Golden Knights swag you see. And the fact is that, now that they've won 6 years into their existence, it's only going to grow even bigger. It's really one of the biggest home runs the NHL has hit probably in the entire tenure of Gary Bettman as commissioner. The fact that they were the first pro league to go to Vegas, put roots down, and made money hand over fist there.
So we see, I mean, although last night at the Raiders game, it did seem like, there was a decent amount of Raiders fans, but we have seen these teams, Los Angeles Rams going back to L.A., and they never have home field advantage there. San Diego, it's even worse. They got to use a silent count in L.A. for the L.A. Chargers because they have no fans in Los Angeles. I mean, it's ridiculous. And then the Raiders, of course, moving over to Las Vegas. When you go to a Vegas game, though, is it a big, is there a large amount of people from the opponent fans, making a weekend out of it, taking a vacation, going to Vegas, see the Bruins play or see the, whoever go there and play? Or does it feel like it's predominantly a Vegas crowd? Because in Nashville, it took 15 years to get those people, Blackhawk fans and Red Wing fans and anybody else's fans out of the building. It doesn't feel that way in Vegas.
No, and it doesn't. I mean, it's definitely not like a Raiders game where you go to the game and it feels like a Steelers home game. there are certain teams that certainly travel more than others, and there are obviously some geographic rivalries. Like when the Kings come to town, you'll get a bunch of LA Kings fans there because of the proximity to Los Angeles. But yeah, I mean, you go to a Vegas home game, it feels like a Vegas home game. They're tough tickets to get, and they certainly have a home ice advantage with the way those fans act.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And of course, there'll be the late game tonight against the Seattle Kraken. And that's been a pretty good story as well with the Kraken, and they were very competitive very quickly.
Yeah, second year making the playoffs and then knocking off the defending Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche in their first-round series. They're a bit ahead of schedule, I think. You know, the Vegas Golden Knights made it hard for anyone to try to do a traditional grow as an expansion team because the Knights went to the Stanley Cup final in their first season. But I think the Kraken, you know, they got the same expansion draft rules as Vegas did. They did pretty well there in drafting a good team and, you know, added a really good rookie in Matty Beniers last year who won Rookie of the Year. I kind of think they're going to take a step back this year only because their shooting percentage last year was so high that there's bound to be some regression on that. But even if they miss the playoffs this season, making it last year, getting that win over Colorado really did a lot to establish themselves in that market, I think.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And speaking of rookies, of course, everybody is talking about Connor Bedard, and as he'll make his debut as an 18-year-old rookie. Interesting wearing number 98. I'll tell you a quick story. My son was a very good baseball player as a youth player and all the way through high school, and he wore number 2 because of Derek Jeter. He was a huge Derek Jeter fan. He wore number 2 all through his youth, travel league, whatever. He was always assigned 2. He always got to wear 2 because of Jeets. So he gets to high school, and he starts playing in high school, and he's playing varsity ball as a freshman. He changes his number to 27. And I'm like, what happened to the deuce, man? He says, it'll be retired by the time I get to the Yankees, so I want to have a number that I can take with me. And I was like, okay. I wasn't going to be the one to tell him that, look, your chances of making it to Major League Baseball are infinitesimal, but you're not going to break the kid's heart and tell him that, hey, if that's the way you're thinking. So I was like, why is Connor Bedard wearing 98? Because 99 is taken. I mean, that's basically was his attitude, and he has a chance to make it his own, this kid, right?
That, and I hope that he's smart enough to know that if you get drafted by a team or you get traded to a team and you need to change your number, the first thing you should do is go on the internet and go look at the history of the jerseys for that team and figure out which uniform number you can own. Like, don't go to the team and try to wear a number that is synonymous with a player that is like a legend on that team. Some of them are going to be retired, but other ones are just synonymous with certain players. You want to be able to go at the end of your career, to go on that uniform site, click on like number 55, and know that you are the best number 55 in the history of that franchise. That goes for hockey or any sport. That's always been my take on uniform numbers.
The uniform sales were off the chain. I mean, it was amazing to see how many uniforms they were selling, 98 Bedard uniforms. And the team was smart. They didn't hand him a 23, for 2023 draft pick. They handed him the 98 right from the beginning, and he went on sale like that night. It was incredible.
I also think that maybe you want to avoid giving a kid 23 in Chicago. That might not be
that would be a problem.
But you're right. I mean, like he has been the Connor Bedard effect has already hit Chicago. They sold a ton of jerseys after they won the draft lottery, but more importantly, they made like $5 million in ticket sales just based on having won the draft lottery. It's pretty remarkable.
And by the way, he'll be skating with Taylor Hall. I was very upset to see Taylor Hall leave the Bruins. I mean, that was his, that's his area of the country, and he was a guy that said he was a Bruins fan, wanted to play for the Bruins, but so he was a number 1 pick overall as well. I can't think of too many places where they got 2 guys that were the number 1 pick overall in the NHL draft skating together.
Yeah, and the Bruins thing with Taylor Hall was obviously they had some cap considerations after the season and trying to rearrange things financially. And I think that, he was a casualty of that. And the thing about Taylor that's really interesting is that he ends up in Chicago. He ends up with another Original Six team, which I know is important to him. But he was in Edmonton when Connor McDavid was a rookie. He actually roomed with McDavid. So he's got some of this history of being sort of like the, Obi-Wan Kenobi to the young apprentice. In the NHL, and I think it's going to benefit Connor Bedard not only to have a talented guy playing with him on that team, which could certainly use some more talented players. I mean, Chicago had to strip that thing down to the foundation to try to get the first overall pick, and it was worth it. But also to kind of be a mentor to him in these early years in the league.
We knew that Connor McDavid would be a can't miss. We knew that Sidney Crosby would be a can't miss. There have been others that we thought were can't miss that missed. How much of a can't miss is this kid at 18 getting thrown right into the NHL?
I think he's a can't miss. There's a couple of things about him that I'm really impressed with. First of all, his shot. I had a scout tell me earlier this year that his shot is otherworldly. And when you see it, it's kind of a little bit like Austin Matthews with the Leafs, where there's a little bit of deception in the way he shoots the puck, but he's also in that kind of Brett Hull way, able to get his shot off in a variety of ways, in a variety of places on the ice. It's fast, it's accurate, it's great, and I think he's going to be able to score a lot of goals as a rookie. The second thing about him is that you hear he's 18 years old or whatever, and you're saying to yourself, well, this guy's going to get knocked around physically in this league. Well, first of all, it's a different league than it was 10 years ago. It's a lot less physical than it was. It's a very offensive league now, very speed and skating-oriented league. The second thing is, having met Bedard a few times, he's kind of thicker than you'd think for being a 17-year-old kid coming out of Canadian Junior. He's got a kind of a body that I think can withstand the punishment of the NHL a little bit. So I think he's going to make an impression straight away, and then as the years go on, I mean, he's clearly going to be the guy that leads the Blackhawks into their next era now that Taves and Kane are gone.
So 3 years from now, who's the best Connor in the NHL?
It's still McDavid. McDavid might be the best Connor in the NHL when he's 67 years old. Like, he's just like, he's the best. I mean, for my money, he might be the best hockey player I've seen since Mario Lemieux. I think Mario is still my pinnacle for best player I've ever seen. The combination of size and speed and defense and offense and just being able to toy with people on the ice. Connor McDavid does the same thing. I actually, on our show, The Drop today, have an interview with McDavid that I did where I break down a goal he scored against the Rangers where he beat them 1-on-4. And I really wanted to kind of sit down with him and get into his mind. And it's literally just me for like 4 minutes being like, what are you thinking here? What are you seeing here? What are you doing here? And it's one of my favorite things I've done here at ESPN because it really kind of like takes you into the mind of an elite athlete in a way that we don't normally get to see. So I know it'll be on the show today, but I think it'll definitely also be on YouTube at some point. So I'll tweet that out.
Greg Wyshynski with us here talking some puck on opening day. Yeah, it's become a rite of passage. You have again picked the Edmonton Oilers to win the Stanley Cup, right? I mean, so and I hope you're right. Being an old school guy, I like the more traditional teams. They are my late night team. So after I watched the Bruins game earlier, I check out the Oilers game late. So tell me why the Edmonton Oilers are your pick this year to finally get over the hump and get it done.
Now, I don't consider the fact that I picked them last year to be an incorrect pick. I consider that to be a year too early. Like, I thought, with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, you get two generational talents on the same team. They're going to figure it out eventually. They're going to win a cup eventually. It happened with Mario and Jagr. It happened with Gretzky and Messier. It'll happen with these guys. But the thing I like about them now is that after these last couple of postseasons where they've lost and not even played for a championship in a couple of them, you can tell they're fed up with it. Like, I talked to both these guys in the offseason. You could see that they have reached their point of being disgusted with losing in the playoffs. And once elite players get to that status, and when they're surrounded by a good enough team, and I think they are, they tend to push through. It happened with Nathan McKinnon and the Avalanche 2 years ago. I think it happens with McDavid and Draisaitl this year. I think this is the year they do it.
You have the Predators in the playoffs, like last team in to get into the playoffs. Tell me what you look at, what you see with the Preds. Of course, they are this afternoon at 4:30 Central Time in Tampa Bay to start this whole season off. But what do you see about the Preds that you like, and what do you see that you don't like?
Well, what I love about them is the foundation on which they're built, which is incredible goaltending. I think they've got a top three goalie tandem in this league with UC Saros and Kevin Lankinen. I think Saros is elite. Lankinen's not too bad either. And then when you have them in backup defensemen like Roman Josi and Ryan McDonough and Tyson Barrie, I think they're really strong in the back end. But what I like them for a playoff spot, one, because I think there's some Central Division teams that are just okay, and if Nashville can be a little bit better than okay, they can get in the playoffs. But two, I'm putting a lot of stock into their new coach, Andrew Brunette, being a guy that knows how to play offensive hockey during an era of offense in the NHL. He did it in Florida. He helped run the Devils' power play last year as their associate coach. The Devils were a top 4 offensive team in this league. I think he knows how to coach teams the correct way in 2023-24. And if that's the case, I think the Predators have enough up front where they're going to get good offensive performances out of these players and sneak into the final wild card in the West.
Surprise team that kind of comes out of nowhere that we didn't see coming, and surprise team that we think is going to be pretty good that ends up missing the playoffs?
Well, they're both related. They're both in the Atlantic Division. I think there's a pack of 3 teams that everybody's trying to figure out when they're going to jump up a tier. And it's the Buffalo Sabres, the Ottawa Senators, and the Detroit Red Wings. I think the Red Wings of those 3 are the worst. There's a lot of people riding Buffalo's tail right now. They're trying to make the playoffs for the first time since, I think, 2012. I still think they're about a year away. So Ottawa is the team I have my eyes on. They added Jonas Korpisalo as a goalie to tandem with Anton Forsberg. I think that's a really good tandem. And sometimes in this league, man, as you know, all it takes is one really good line to power you and drag you over the finish line. And they've got a line with Brady Tkachuk, this German kid named Tim Stützle, and the old veteran sage Claude Giroux on the same line. And that line is terrific. So I think they're the ones that jump up in that division and make the playoffs, which means somebody's got to leave. And it's not your Bruins that are leaving. It's the Tampa Bay Lightning that are leaving. I think I made this pick before Andrei Vasilevsky got hurt. Vasilevsky's going to miss like 2 months with an injury. I think the thing about this team is that, yeah, they still have about 5 guys that are as good as anybody in this league, and that might be good enough for them to get into the playoffs. But if you look at the team that made the Cup final a couple of years ago, and then you look at the roster behind those guys now, it's almost unrecognizable. They've lost so many key supporting players over the last couple of years, including Alex Killorn, who was a top 6 forward for them in this offseason, that it's bound to catch up with you at some point. Great teams become too top-heavy at some point, and I think that this might be the year where the Lightning take a slight step back and open the door for a team like Ottawa to walk through.
So the Bruins had Greg Wyshynski with us here at ESPN.com. We'll end here with the Bruins. The Bruins had a historic regular season, and I knew that was setting the Bruins up for failure. I mean, it was just the way it was. Just this is not going to end well. Hey, look, we're dealing with this with the Atlanta Braves, right? I mean, they had 104 wins. Yeah. Beat the Phillies by 14 games in the standings, and if not for some heroics in the 8th and 9th inning last night, they're down 2-0, after 2 games at home. It just happens in sports, and it happens more often than people know. You need to be good at the right time of the year, but they had that ridiculous 135-point year last year and then lost in the first round. How do I watch this team without a roster in my hands? Because the beloved Patrice Bergeron is gone. I like Bertuzzi. He's gone. Foligno's gone. Taylor Hall's gone. Krejci's gone. They're all gone. And I get Milan Lucic back, who's 100 years old now, it feels like. I don't know. But how does this team compete this year for Coach Montgomery?
Defense. And you mentioned Montgomery's name, and he had a great line, by the way, about why they flamed out in the playoffs last year. When I talked to him in the preseason, he said, "We tried to win the cup in the first round." That makes a lot of sense. Like, they had enormous pressure on themselves, not only to win the cup after that regular season, but to win a cup for Patrice Bergeron and David Krejci, both who retired in the offseason. They didn't get a chance to send them out winners, but Montgomery is the key to this because his teams play great defensively. And the moment he walked into Boston was the moment when Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman, their goalies, became almost unbeatable and were the best goaltending tandem in the league. I think you can rely on those guys to be great again. They got to play closer to the vest. They got to hope they get enough offense out of Pasternak and Marchand and Coyle and DeBrusk that they can, win close games. But when your base is Linus Ullmark, Jeremy Swayman, Charlie McAvoy, and Hampus Lindholm on defense, and Jim Montgomery as your coach, that's a pretty sturdy foundation to try to build something else. It ain't going to be last year, but I do think they're going to be a playoff team this year.
Yeah, can you imagine 135 points to missing the playoffs? I mean, that would be horrific. That would just be really bad. Where's Bergeron, by the way? Why isn't he standing on the bench somewhere? Why shouldn't he be an assistant coach or something? He be coaching waiting, or what's the deal with him?
I mean, he was always at the top of the list when we do those like asking players who they think is going to be the next great coach or GM. He's got a great mind for it. He's already been in their coach's room a lot in the last year. So it's just a matter of time. But yeah, no, the Bruins are a really fascinating team to watch just because we've seen teams lose in the first round before, but we've not seen a team that good lose in the first round before and then lose their top two centers in the same offseason. It's really going to be a heck of a mystery to solve this year.
Well, if you're looking for kind of a cool, off-the-beaten-path hockey story, this is the 20th anniversary of the SPHL, which no one thought would last more than 5 years, to be quite honest with you. But it is the 20th anniversary of the SPHL, and the two anchor teams, the Huntsville Havoc and the Knoxville Ice Bears, are the two teams that have played in every single season of the SPHL, including the COVID year, when only 5 teams played out of the 10 teams in the league, and Huntsville and Knoxville played. So it's kind of a cool hockey story that this league has thrived. I remember when I first started covering it and watching it back in the day, it was like beer league hockey. I was like, my God, do people know how bad this hockey is? But it's not anymore. I mean, it's pretty good hockey. It's fascinating hockey. It's really not that far behind the ECHL, and it's great that this league has lasted 20 years and is very stable now with 10 teams in it. It's a good hockey league.
That's amazing, and I'm so happy that the anniversary is here. I'm so happy that these places have teams that can follow, and it may be worth my time. I should just find a bunch of old SPHL people, turn on my tape recorder, and say, "Tell me about the nonsense that went on 20 years ago." I could probably win a Pulitzer after that with some of those stories. Right?
I'm sure there'll be some great stories, some great old school stories about some of the stuff these teams went through back in the day, and look, it's a real thing. In Huntsville, you took it in Huntsville, they'll average 5,000 a game again. They're gonna in a 6,000 seat arena. They'll average 5,000 a game. They'll have a half a dozen or more sellouts. It's a thing, in a place that doesn't have UAH hockey anymore, which is a rotten shame. It is, it's really a thing in Huntsville. So I think it's still a hockey capital of the South in terms of minor league hockey anyway.
You know how much fun I had doing that story a couple of years ago, going to Huntsville, going to Birmingham. It was one of my favorite things I've done as a writer, just to experience that environment and meet some really cool people. And I'm so happy that the league has thrived and that it continues to progress in quality from what, like you said, was more of like a slap shot thing back in the day than anything else.
And the Havoc are opening in Birmingham. I was like, this is a missed opportunity for me. I'm a marketing guy, right? So when I think about the SPHL, you've got two teams that have been there since day one, Knoxville and Huntsville. They should have opened the season on a standalone game, just Knoxville against Huntsville, the two teams that have played every year of the 20 years of the SPHL. That's the way you kick off year 20. But, they'll kick it off down in Birmingham. So it is what it is. Greg Wyshynski has been our guest. Greg, I appreciate you. You do such a great job, and it's great to be able to stop in and chat with you. I can't promise that we'll chat anytime before the end of the football season, but certainly once we get into the dead of winter, and it's and we're all looking at the hockey, we'll certainly get you back in the show again.
Well, always a pleasure. Roll Tide. We'll talk soon.
Hey, good hockey down there. Roll Tide's got a good hockey club. I just and a cool uniform. I'll tell you what. Yeah, you see that. You see those as Alabama hockey uniforms all the time around Tuscaloosa in the wintertime. They're really cool. All right, man. Appreciate you. Thanks.
Take care.
Greg Wyshynski. All right, when we come back, it is time for this week's edition of Beat the Big Dog. That's right, you Tuesday listeners and you Final Hour listeners, you got a chance now to get in. I'll tell you what. Be caller number 3 right now. Caller number 3 plays Beat the Big Dog. You'll get to hear the picks not only of Grizz, but also of Steve Moulton, who is our guest picker. Why Steve Moulton? Well, he's covering for me tomorrow, and who knows, maybe the rest of the week as well. So I figured we might as well get Steve in here and have him be the guest picker. So 256-576-4977, 5 college games, 1 NFL game. Beat the Big Dog. It's next on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Did you know that Valley Equipment Rental also specializes in day and weekend rentals to homeowners? The weekend rentals is by far the best deal that they offer. If you pick up after 2 on a Friday or anytime Saturday morning, it's not due in until Monday morning before 8 a.m. for a one-day charge. For a small fee, Valley can even haul anything they carry. Valley has extremely experienced and knowledgeable staff that can help you decide what size machine you need or what type of machine you need to get your job done like a pro. They have all the big items that the contractors need for their jobs, but they also carry the small tools that can help you with your DIY project. More importantly, Valley is locally owned and operated, which means when you have an issue, you can get someone on it right away, right here in the Valley. Heck, ask for Ross Roberts, the owner, if you like. Try calling one of the big box national outlets and ask for the owner. That's if you can even get through the automation. Buy local. Buy Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental has 2 locations, one on the North and South Parkway. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Stan McDonald. Stan, tell everybody why you're the best damn dirt lawyer in North Alabama.
Yes, Wes, at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. You know I'm a dirt lawyer, and a lot of our friends know that, which means we specialize in real estate. Now, if you own real estate or you're buying it or you're selling it, you need to do a closing, but a lot of times there's legal issues associated with that. We're a great group to talk to. My son, Lewis McDonald, heads our commercial closing division, and we approach your real estate needs very seriously. We seek to be the premier real estate closing company in North Alabama, and we do it in such a way it shows that we're experienced, we're for your success. We like to handle your real estate needs the same way Coach Dan Reeves used to say, never let them see you sweat. And that's going to be to your benefit, too, when you visit us at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. Our website online is jacobtitle.com.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of statistics, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and an enormous selection of players and stat options are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million football fans who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/primetime and use code PRIMETIME. That's code PRIMETIME at prizepicks.com/primetime for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Football season and Bad Daddy's Burger Bar. The perfect combination of good times and great food. This season, score big with one of our chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness. Our delicious burgers are made with premium Angus beef, and you can pair it with one of our signature cocktails or a cold craft beer from our huge selection. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and our new location at Cliff Farm, Highway 72 in Madison.
Kevin Harlan here from Westwood One, inviting you to join me and Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner every Monday this season. It's Westwood One's 45th year of bringing you primetime NFL games, and the schedule is packed with great matchups. Plus, you'll hear Rich Eisen from the studios with interviews and the latest news around the NFL. Don't miss any of the action every week on Monday Night Football.
Listen to the Bama Recap Show each Sunday morning at 11, presented by Freedom Marine Center on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Embers floating on the southbound breeze, somewhere between heaven and the tall pine trees. Hard land, I'm missing you. Guitar playing through the
And welcome back, Tom Abraham Show. Today's edition of Beat the Big Dog is brought to you by the service department at Woody Anderson Ford. That's right, the service team at Woody Anderson Ford, not only experts in the service of Ford and other makes, but they use genuine Ford and Motorcraft parts on every service job. They do tire rotations, wheel alignments, brake jobs, oil changes, engine tune-ups, tranny work. They do it all at the service department and the Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center. They've got your Ford and other makes covered. You can check them out, Woody Anderson Ford. They're at the corner of Sparkman and Jordan Lane, and also at WoodyAndersonFord.com. It's the only place I've gone to since 2004, coming up on 20 years. That's right, it is Woody Anderson Ford. All right, it's time now for Beat the Big Dog. And our guest picker today is going to be the one and only Steve Moulton, not David Moulton. David Moulton will be on tomorrow when Steve Moulton is doing the show. They are not related. But it's going to be very interesting tomorrow when Chad and Steve have David Moulton on the show. Steve is in studio to join us now. Steve, I hope that doesn't mess you up too much.
I don't know that for a fact. I have yet to do that ancestry thing, so I don't know whether or not David and I are related or not.
Distant cousins.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, all, but nonetheless, yeah, it'll be fun to talk Moulton to Moulton tomorrow.
You guys actually had a communication that I arranged way back in the day.
Yeah.
When I think that FGCU was playing
UAH
maybe, and you guys needed to exchange information. And he asked me, he says, "Who does UAH?" I said, "Actually, a guy by the name of Steve Moulton." And he's like, "Steve Moulton?" I said, "Yeah, Steve Moulton spells the name the same way and everything."
The only way to spell Moulton. I mean, it really is.
It really is probably the only way to spell Moulton. All right, so you're our guest picker today. Now, I will tell you, the bar has been set very low.
Yeah.
The best any guest picker has done is 3-3 against the spread, and that was Wes and Mo Carter. They both did 3-3. So you have a chance to be the best of the guest pickers so far this season if you can do something here against the spread.
See, but the fact that you're setting it up this way, if I go below it, Wes is not going to this is just setting me up for failure more than anything.
Yes.
But
and he will not let you hear the end of it.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
So I was thinking that maybe I should start giving like a little gift to our guest pickers for being a guest picker. I was thinking maybe I'd hook you up. I was thinking I'd hook you up with a gift certificate to Bad Daddy's Burger Bar. Have you ever been?
No, I have not. I really need to. No, it's a fantastic place. Yes.
How about Bubby's? We'll hook you up with Bubby's. You know, Bubby's is this week. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, that comes up on Friday. By the way, shrimp and grits are fantastic. The meatloaf is fantastic. I mean, we can vouch for the kind of food that Chris provides down there at Bubby's Diner.
And if you go to Bubby's and you look at the menu, you will notice on one of the menu items.
Is it still
there?
It
would be Kimmy's bacon. Of course, it's still there.
It says Tom.
Does it really?
It says it on the menu.
It's on the menu. Kimmy's Bacon Jam Cheeseburger.
I don't even get that.
Tom Abraham.
What do I got to get to do to get something named after me?
Well,
go
Steve,
better
he's
than
more
3
than
and
he's
3,
there more
right?
than both of us. I'm there
Steve,
like almost every other morning. He's there every day.
Steve, I am kind of a thing. You know that, don't you, right? I mean, and there it is. Those of you that are watching on WZZN, there's the menu, and there's my name on the menu for the Tom Abraham, the big dog's favorite, Kimmy's Bacon Jam Cheeseburger. So
somebody's sitting by a pool and someone's in a studio, so you know, there's
exactly.
that too.
There is that for sure, and I really appreciate you covering for me the next few days on the show. All right, Crimson Carl is our contestant today. Crimson Carl, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, man, I'm doing wonderful. Me and my wife's going out on a little picnic right
There you go. Perfect weather.
Nice.
Up on Montesano.
Wait a minute. So you're on your way to Montesano to go on a picnic with your wife, and you're playing Beat the Big Dog? Let's see how that works out for you. Yeah, I hear you. All right, so I got 6 games here. It's not tie the Big Dog. It's Beat the Big Dog. So we're going to alternate the order. Do you want to pick first on the first game, or do you want to pick first on the second game?
I'll go first.
All right, you'll go first, which means first you're going to hear from Grizz, then you'll hear from Steve, and then you make your pick, and then I'll make my pick, and then we'll reverse the order in the next pick. All right, Grizz, here we go. Texas A&M, off of that bitter loss, heads to Tennessee. I was going to say UT, but, UT might mean Texas now in the SEC. So Texas A&M gets 3.5 at Tennessee. What do you think?
Give me Texas A&M. Yeah. I think they bounce back after that game.
All right, so you're going to take A&M on the bounce back. All right, what do you think, Steve? Texas A&M getting 3.5.
I'm going to roll with the Volunteers. I think Tennessee. So Tennessee needs to win by more than 3. Do I have this correct?
Yeah, you've never
He's never
played
gambled
a game before against the spread. You've never gambled on a game before. No, they need to win by 4 or more. It's 3.5. So it's 3.5.
Give me the
Tennessee wins by
new.
3.
He
You lose by the hook. You lose by the hook if it's 3.5.
They need to win by the 4 horsemen.
4.
So yes. I will go Vols winning at home.
Joe
by
Milton
more
riding
than
that
4.
horse.
Yeah.
All right, Crimson Carl, what do you think? The Tennessee Vols are minus 3.5 against A&M in Knoxville.
Well, you reminded me a couple of weeks ago about the hook. So I'm definitely going to take Tennessee.
All right, so you're going to take Tennessee there. Yes, I'm here to educate our listeners on the vagaries of gambling terms. That's exactly what that is. Look, I'm taking Tennessee too. Alabama, that was a bitter loss for A&M. And when Alabama's playing physical football like they are now, they beat you, and then they beat you for the next week as well. I don't think A&M bounces back. I'm going to take Tennessee. I'll lay to 3.5. They'll win the game by 10. All right, in this next game, I'm picking first. Speaking of Alabama, Arkansas gets 18.5 at Bama. I have really struggled with Bama picks. I finally hit one last week. 18.5. That sounds like a lot of points, though. But I think Bama's hitting a stride right now. I'm going to go ahead. It's a tricky number. I'm going to go ahead and lay the 18.5 with Alabama. Grizz, what do you got?
Yeah, I think they cover. I'm going to go Arkansas here. I think they cover because their last 3 games have been like one point or like 1 possession games. So I honestly think that Arkansas will cover here. Give me the Hogs, and I'll be at the game. Give me the Hogs.
All right, you got them. What do you think, Steve? Arkansas gets 18.5.
I think Bama's figured it out. I really do. And I think you're going to see that defense in particular for Alabama is stellar. So give me, I would take 21. So Alabama going away in a big way.
All right, so he takes Alabama. Crimson Carl, I don't know what team you pull for with that name, but Arkansas gets 18.5 isn't enough.
Big Harvard guy.
Bama. Well, he could have been a Crimson. He could have been an Oklahoma fan. That other Crimson. You never know.
That was a Harvard guy.
Boomer.
Yeah. All right, let's on our next game. All right, Grizz, your Auburn Tigers. Too bad you can't go to this game because you're going to be at the Alabama game. But your Auburn Tigers get 11.5 at LSU.
Yeah, give me Auburn here on the road. Yeah, give me the War Eagles.
All right, you got the War Eagles. What do you think, Steve? Auburn gets 11.5.
I've been agreeing so much with Grizz here that this is starting to scare me a little bit. But if there is one consistent thing about Auburn that I've seen is their defense. And I think LSU has figured something out the last 3 quarters at Missouri. But I like Auburn to keep it close. Give me the Auburn War Eaglers.
All right, you got them. All right, what do you think, Crimson Carl? Auburn gets 11.5 at LSU.
LSU.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. I think that LSU can score against anybody. They're just so good scoring-wise, and I know that defense has been good for Auburn. But if LSU starts building up any kind of a lead, I don't know how Auburn can score, even against a horrific LSU defense. So I'm going to say that LSU starts to put the clamps on. It's a night game at LSU. It's a freaky scenario there. I think LSU, in a game that's close at the half, I think LSU pulls away and wins this game by 14, 17, somewhere in there. So I've got LSU as well. All right, in the next game I'm picking first, USC takes 2.5 points to Notre Dame. These are 2 very disappointing teams, I think. I mean, 2 teams that were overrated. USC should not be in the top 10. They get 2.5 at Notre Dame. It's a night game at the Domers. They just looked pitiful against Louisville. I'm vamping here because I don't know what to pick in this game here, but I'm going to go ahead and, with trepidation, I'm going to take USC here. They got the Heisman Trophy winner. Notre Dame's offense has not been prolific. I think Sam Hartman has come down to earth. I'll take the 2.5 points. I'll take USC. I think they'll actually win the football game. I got USC, Grizz.
Yeah, I have to agree with you here. Obviously, they have the better offense, but I think they have the better defense, and I think they'll have the better defense in this game. I think they'll be able to beat them pretty handily.
All right, Steve. The Trojans get 2.5 at Notre Dame.
Better defense. Did you watch the Arizona USC game?
You watch their special teams too?
Oh,
it was even worse. I understand.
USC's defense is horrific. LSU think USC's defense is bad.
I don't think this is going to be close at all. I think Notre Dame's going to run away with it. Give me the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame.
I just worried about their offense. All right, what do you think, Crimson Carl? USC gets 2.5 at Notre Dame.
Oh boy, this is tough. Give me them Chrome Domes.
That's a Bama fan picking Notre Dame right there.
It's more of a Golden Dome, not a Chrome Dome.
Tommy Reese's.
Yeah, it's the Fighting Tommy Reese's. All right, so you got the Domers there in that one. All right, this one you guys go first. All right, Grizz. Oregon gets 3.5 at Washington. Sneaky good game here. Top 10, 2 top 10 teams.
Yeah,
allegedly.
I want to pull for Washington here. Yeah, I'm going to go Washington here. I like Penix Jr. I see a lot of people saying that he should go to Atlanta.
I'm for that.
I really like. I think it'll be back and forth. It's gonna be a close game. I think they pull away.
You wouldn't take Bo Nix in Atlanta?
Penix, please.
Yeah, give me
Penix.
Penix. More athletic. Yeah, go ahead. Let me get Washington.
All right, so you got him. What do you think, Steve? Oregon gets 3.5.
I've only seen a little bit of Oregon, but what's not being talked nearly enough about is Oregon's defense. And I realize it's kind of a punchline to talk about defense, but Oregon feels like a complete team, and I think Oregon is the better team. So give me the Ducks.
All right, Crimson Carl, what do you like? Oregon getting 3.5 at Washington.
Let's go.
Oh, did you say Washington?
He said Montesano right there.
The Montesano. Crimson Carl, who do you like in that one?
The Ducks.
The Ducks.
You say the Ducks? Okay, well, I'm on the Ducks too. I got to be honest with you. I do think they are the better team. I also think a factor here is that this is a daytime game. Out there, it'll be, I think, a noon game out there. I think it's a 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central game. I like Oregon getting the points. It's the hook is what's bothering me. Washington win that game on a field goal, and we still win with Oregon. I'll take the points with the Ducks as well. All right, final game. I'm picking first. This is our NFL game that we've got in here. This game will take place at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which the players last week hated. There was multiple injuries on that turf. They say the turf is awful. They want to play on the natural stuff that's there underneath the turf. That turf splits apart. The synthetic turf actually splits apart, and then there's a soccer pitch underneath it. The players want to play on the grass. They don't want to play on the fake stuff. Having said that, the Titans get 3.5 there at the Ravens. Titans coming off of a loss to the Colts. The Ravens coming off of a loss to the Steelers. The pick might be the under in this game, but that's not an option for us. I will take the Ravens and lay the 3.5 out there in England. What do you got, Grizz?
A real miserable game. I watched some of this Pittsburgh Steelers-Ravens game, and it was a really miserable game. And I feel like Derrick Henry's going to have a really, really good time. I think they're going to be able to run him really well against the Ravens. And give me the Titans here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to put him back. I benched him on my fantasy team because he's been so bad. I took him out, and I might have to put him back in based on what you're saying.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right, so you'll take the Titans there. All right, Steve, what do you think? The Titans are getting 3.5 at the Ravens at Hotspur.
Remember, this used to be a big deal. This used to be the rivalry in the National Football League between the Ravens and the Titans back in the day. That being said, I can't go Ravens. I mean, there's even – the Titans have been – I've been expecting more out of the Titans this year, and I think hopefully you're going to see that this weekend, and I'm going to go Tennessee. This is more of my heart than my head on this pick.
All right, so he takes the Titans. And Crimson Carl, your final pick. You and I are only separate. Okay, we're only separated on one game, and it's not tied to Big Dog. It's beat the Big Dog. So right now, the only game we're on opposite sides of, ironically, I have USC, and I got to pull for USC against Notre Dame. He's got Notre Dame. I picked USC, even though I'll pull for Notre Dame in the game. All right, Carl. Titans get 3.5 against the Ravens at Tottenham.
It's where is it played?
England.
It's being played in England, London.
Oh, let's go Baltimore.
All right, so you're going to take the Ravens as well. So in summation, right now, we both like Tennessee. We both like Alabama. We both like LSU. I've got USC plus 2.5, and Carl has Notre Dame laying the wood there. We both got Oregon, and we both got the Ravens. So it all comes down, Carl, to one game. My beloved USC Trojans against your Notre Dame Golden Domers.
Fight on.
All right, good luck.
All right, good luck to you on the Mount Sinai Island, too, with the picnic. I hope that works out for you.
Yes, indeed.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, Steve, thanks for doing this. Thanks for covering for me tomorrow. And I don't know what's going on Thursday and Friday, but I know you guys, it'll be in good hands with you guys.
We'll handle
it.
And
I'm sure you'll handle it. And if you do a really good job, some restaurant might put your name on a menu.
Yeah, maybe one day. Maybe
it's on the line.
Yeah,
you
it's
never know. Well,
it's a shame I'm not going to the furniture factory here in about 10 minutes to set up.
Yeah, there you go.
Steve's
all right, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Have a good show down there.
Thank you, Tom.
I understand it's Pedro's birthday today down there at the furniture factory. I'm not sure, but it's Taco Tuesday, I believe.
It's Steve's
all right,
birthday
we'll get a break.
Tuesday.
We'll come back and wrap it up next right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Thom Abraham here for my friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Did you know that average home equity is at an all-time high? But so is average consumer debt. Even though rates are higher now, you can use your equity to pay off your high consumer debt, student loans, etc., then refi when the rates drop. Don't put off that new home purchase. When rates drop, prices will go up. Buy now and get the best price and then refi when the rates drop. This is the time to talk to the experts at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com for more information.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer here to enjoy another great football season with y'all. And guess what? The salmon are running, so make sure you try our delicious lemon garlic salmon. And for you land lovers, try our sizzling char grill flat iron Callaway steak, complemented with our special shrimp etouffee. And you'll definitely want to tackle our Alabama hot chicken, smothered in our zesty and tangy, immune-boosting special Alabama hot sauce. Baumhauer's legendary fun and legendary food.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Philip Love of not only Eagle Insulation, now he represents Eagle Companies. Eagle through the years have added several companies to help individuals or builders through their construction renovation process. Eagle is known to represent quality, efficiency, and professionalism. Philip, I know you do insulation, but do you do masonry?
We do.
Do you do grading, erosion control, and dirt hauled off?
We do.
Do you do afterpaint, which includes shower doors, mirrors, shelving blinds, and bath hardware?
Yes, we do, Wes.
Do you do landscaping and irrigation?
Yes, we do.
So basically, Eagle can help you all along your process of building your house or doing renovations. So do you do plumbing?
We do not, Wes, but we can find somebody to do it.
Just give them time. They'll be there. Anyway, call Eagle Insulation at
256-755-1556.
Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Call Eagle today.
Thanks, Wes.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
And the anthem today is brought to you by Valley Equipment Rental with their two locations. Taking care of the homeowner and the contractor. It's Valley Equipment Rental on the North Parkway and the South Parkway is where you'll find them. They've got more skid steers and excavators and mini excavators and compressors and lifts and everything than anybody else. So that's the place to go when you need equipment. The other reason you want to go there is because, well, they're locally owned, all right? And that's a very, very important to us. Ross Roberts and his team, locally owned. It's Valley Equipment Rental for all your rental needs. If you're a homeowner, you get it done like a pro, and if you're a pro, you get it done like a pro with Valley Equipment Rental. All right, that's going to do it for us today. Coming up next, it's the Paul Feinbaum Show, and that'll be followed immediately by Taco Tuesday at the Furniture Factory with Steve and Wes. So you're going to want to take in all of that. Grizz did a wonderful job mixing the show today. I will be gone the rest of the week, so have fun with the boys the rest of the week. I'll let you know how things work out at the Harris Chain as we wrap up that season as well. Check out Bassmaster Radio on Saturday morning. It's going to be a good one regarding the fall transition. We're not talking college football fall transition, but at the fall transition of bass fishing. You'll like that. This has been the Thom Abraham Show, and this is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.